Hey guys, I wanted to make this video less of an advice video, but more of like something I am dealing with at the moment because I feel like for like the past month or something, I've been struggling a lot with comparison and self-sabotage. I know I'm always the person who says, don't compare yourself to anyone else. I feel like usually I'm a little bit better at this. The main reason why I'm comparing myself more than usual, I would say, is because I've been spending more time on social media. There's always this, this small balance between I like to be inspired, I like watching other people online, whether it comes to fitness or productivity or just, for fun, but I also tend to really compare myself. The last days I noticed that I went onto other people's Instagram and I looked through their photos and I was like, I love their feet so much. Like, I love their outfits, their hair, their makeup. For me, the hard part is always like, I look at this and I like it and I want to be inspired by it, but then I get really obsessive over it and I want to look exactly like that person. This is not a tip, but something that I learned along the way is that it is so boring if someone is copying someone else. When people try to look exactly like Kylie Jenner or like Ariana Grande or whatever. So the question is, why am I doing it? Why am I looking at these people? Why am I looking at their photos and I want to be like the exact same? Maybe I just need to look through the photos and figure out what I like about the photos, because maybe it's just some clothing pieces. Because if you have so many photos on a feed, you kind of get overwhelmed. Just like with shopping, if you have a lot of clothes, you kind of want to have everything. And then when you look through the clothes, you realize you don't want everything, you just are overwhelmed with what they have to offer. So maybe if you want to get inspired, maybe if I want to get inspired, I don't know, I should look through the feed that I like and get inspiration from that, screenshot maybe the outfit or the makeup, or maybe it's location, whatever I like about it. And then I have a folder on my phone where I have like Instagram inspiration photos. I usually don't really use them, I just go with the flow, but just in case, because I like to do my own personal thing usually and just get a little inspiration here and there. This is the next thing. I always compare myself to people that I don't look anything like them, and I will never look like them because I just don't have the facial features or the body features or whatever it is. And you cannot look like everyone. For example, sometimes I look at people that are very, very skinny, very, very slim, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to have that. I want to look like that. It's absolutely gorgeous, And then I see someone else who has, more curves, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely gorgeous, and I want to look like that. And then I see someone with blonde hair, and I'm like, I want to look like that. Then I see someone with dark hair, I want to look like that. And you can't have it all. I mean, you can go for phases with your hair and stuff like that, and obviously with your body too, if that's what you want. But I feel like it comes down to the fact that you cannot look like everybody else. Like, you cannot look like everyone. You just have to find what you feel best in, and maybe through experimenting, you can change your hair, you can change your clothes. Okay, why do I compare myself to other people so obsessively to a point that it really makes me unhappy? I came to the conclusion, maybe I do like to suffer. And I know this sounds so ridiculous and it's so weird to explain that on the internet, and people who can watch this and people who know me in real life can watch this, but I know a lot of people are not aware of this, and some people don't want to admit it, but I feel like most people are not aware that we like, as human beings, we like to suffer. So what I think I'm doing is I'm willingly suffering. I'm comparing myself to these people in order to suffer. If this makes any sense. I know everyone says you should consume less social media, but I recently saw a video, I think it was Scarlett Johansson, but I'm not very sure if it's her. She doesn't have social media. And what she says in the clip, the reason is she tried social media and then she, looked at someone else and saw their family and their house, and I don't know what she was exactly talking about, and suddenly she wanted to have that life. Because she was stalking these people and she wanted to have that life. And before social media, she didn't have the need, to have that life. I think that's what social media comes down to. I see other people, I look at other people's life, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I want their life. I want to look like them. I want to be like that. I think the best thing is to pick out what you like about other people's life, because sometimes for me it's probably, you know, their aesthetic. Like I love when I see very aesthetic houses, but I feel like at the moment I don't have the most aesthetic apartment and I don't have the money to make it more aesthetic, so I'm just dealing with what I have, you know, and I'm grateful for what I have, because one day I know I can have an apartment or a house that suits more what I want to have. When I was 18 or something, I always wanted to live on my own. Like I would have died, I would have done everything, like everything in this world to live on my own and to have an apartment like this. Maybe another tip is to be grateful for the things that you have. I know this sounds so obvious, but sometimes it's really just the simple things. If you don't look at what other people do on social media, suddenly you're like, well, what I have is actually really fine, you know. I love my apartment. I think it's amazing. Obviously, if you see that a lot, you want to have it, because the more you're on social media, the less you live your own life, and who wants that? I love social media. I love a good TikTok scroll or Instagram scroll, you know, like everyone else, but I feel like we should limit our times and live in our own life, because other people would kill to have what we have, or what you have, what I have. I don't know. There are people that are jealous what you have, you know. There could be people looking at your Instagram and be like, oh my gosh, I love her Instagram feed. Like for me, it's sometimes I love my Instagram photos and then I post them and I'm like, now that they're in my feed, I feel like they look boring. But I'm sure that other people look at my feed and think they're gorgeous. Some friends sometimes tell me that they like my pictures and they're beautiful, and they are beautiful, especially my boyfriend's taking them, so I'm not saying they're not beautiful. But sometimes I'm just like, they're so boring, because I looked at them 100 times, you know? Also with social media, I feel like a lot of times I'm at home not wearing makeup, and then I look at on social media where people are wearing makeup and the photos are taken in a good light or edited or wherever. I know that, but I still compare myself, you know? Sometimes I'll even look at my own photos. I'm like, damn, I don't look like that at the moment. But I choose to most of the time not wear makeup when I'm at home, because I don't want to wear makeup every day. I want my skin to breathe. I need to accept, like, now I am not wearing makeup and other people are doing that too. They're just not really showing that on social media. What I also have a lot of comparison lately is with fitness, which usually always very inspired me, but lately I feel like I'm comparing myself more to what other people are doing in their workouts and what other people are eating, and then their bodies. Like I said, I either want to be super skinny or I want to be, you know, super curvy, and I don't know what I want. It changes every day or every hour pretty much. It really does change all the time. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to gain some weight, I want to gain some muscle, I want to be more curvy. Then a few hours later or the next day I feel a little bit bloated and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to lose weight. This is not cute anymore. Fitness influencers, they are usually wearing makeup or having their hair really pretty in the gym, and then, you know, make their videos, take their photos, whatever. And I compare myself to that, and I know I can do that too, but I don't want to. Mainly because I like to be efficient when I'm working out. So for me that means not wearing makeup. I'm sweating a lot. In no life I would want to wear makeup to the gym, and I don't want to have my hair something like this or open. Like I have such long hair, I would be dying. I need my hair out of my face. I need a ponytail or something else. Also with my clothes, like sometimes I see clothes that look so cool. For example, I'm not a t-shirt fan because I'm sweating so much. I need my sports bra. I need my sports bra, okay? So I can breathe and sweat and do all of the things that I'm doing at the gym. But then, you know, I look at other people and they're looking absolutely gorgeous in the gym because they have their hair done, they have jewelry on, they have makeup on and whatever, and I'm like, I look like a tomato. One thing that I didn't mention earlier is, because I said I always want to look like everyone, I want to have all the hairstyles, all the body types at once. Another thing that I like to think about is when I'm comparing myself too much, I think of my favorite celebrities or YouTubers or whatever people you think are pretty. They all look super different and I still think they're all gorgeous. If you want to do this with celebrities, you know, if you take Taylor Swift, she's absolutely gorgeous, but then you take someone like Rihanna, she looks completely different, both gorgeous. Or Beyonce or Lady Gaga or whoever you want to compare to, they all are gorgeous, 10 out of 10, you know what I mean? But they all look so different, and I think this needs to go into my brain that we can all look different and still be gorgeous. I don't need to look at someone who is like super slim and maybe has blonde hair, like Taylor in that example. I should be able to, or we should be able to, if you're also struggling with this, and just admiring it. If you want to have it, obviously you can change it. I personally don't want to have blonde hair because I have tried it once, it doesn't suit me. I don't want to go through the bleaching process and everything. It's a struggle. My entire hair was falling off. It's not gonna be for me to be like super slim and blonde. So I need to admire that when other people have it, but I'm not that type of girl, you know? Something I've also been struggling a lot on social media is, especially on, well, not only Instagram, I think also TikTok, especially with the fitness content, is that I realize how toxic it gets for me. Because, you know, people pose in a certain way, there's a certain light, and you never know if someone is natural or if someone got a BBL or if it's edited and stuff like that. Sometimes I look at other people and I'm like, oh my gosh, her butt looks absolutely amazing, and then she has super slim legs, and then I'm like, you know, I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, and then I need to stop looking at it because I don't know, and I don't want to look at it. My number one tip with social media is to unfollow people that make you feel bad. Only follow people that inspire you and motivate you and stuff like that, you know, but sometimes you just see other stuff. There's always recommendations, the explore page, also on TikTok, you can't really control what you're seeing, you know, and then you come into this very uncomfortable situations because I know I do work out a lot and I try to eat healthy and stuff like that. I feel like this is a whole other topic, like the fitness topic, BBL, stuff like that, because then we also can go into how fitness influencers need to look a certain way, obviously because it's their job and they commit a lot of whatever. If that's, maybe we should do a different video on that. I just want to say, you never know if someone got something done. You never know if someone has a filter on. I've seen people with faces where you're like, oh my gosh, she looks like a doll, but this is not her face, this is a filter, and it gets so toxic. I spit. I think it's so boring that everyone seems to look the same, you know, the same fillers, like lip fillers and same eyes. It gets so boring if everyone looks the same, and I think it's always such a breath of fresh air when I see someone who is natural, where you can tell they didn't get anything done. That's also why I'm always gonna love Taylor Swift a lot, because she didn't get anything done and I think she looks absolutely amazing and she looks natural. That's on the social media part. I feel like I've also been struggling a lot with comparison in real life, and I think in real life it's even harder to block things out, because then I see someone in public and usually the girl has features that I obviously don't have. I don't know what to do about it. I just want to stare at them, you know? I just want to stare and figure it out, but you can't stare at them, and then I feel bad because, I don't know, sometimes in the gym someone is like super slim and I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks amazing, why do I not look? And super girly, and I'm like a sweating mess with a tomato face. Or when I'm out and about and sometimes, you know, you wear more of a sexy outfit and then someone is a little bit more girly, and then I'm like, oh gosh, I wish I looked like that. And then when I'm more girly and someone's more sexy, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I looked like that. So I feel like in real life it's even harder for me because you cannot block people out. I don't know, I feel like the problem is maybe I'm not focused enough on myself, and maybe I'm just too focused on other people when I'm out and about. I feel like it's especially bad when I'm with my boyfriend, because then I don't want him to look at someone, you know, when there's someone pretty. I mean, I know I'm also pretty, but you know what I mean? Do you sometimes have that struggle? Like I'm out and about and then I see a pretty girl and I'm like, I always try to reverse it in my head. You know, when I see an attractive man, I mean, I don't stare at them, but you know, sometimes you just see someone and then I just, you know, it's just a second. I don't really think of anything. I don't really care, you know. I'm with my boyfriend, obviously. I love him, and you know what I mean? But when it comes to other girls, I feel like it's so much harder because I start obsessing over them. It gets so uncomfortable. Also, sometimes when we're at the gym, I look at other girls, and he told me that he looks at the other men, and I really never look at the men. I mean, I notice there are men in the gym, but I don't really look at them because I don't care. I'm so busy observing the girls, you know? Interesting choice of words, girl and men, instead of women and men. I feel like I like the word girl more, because we're in a girly area. That's on that. If you have any tips, what do you do in public? How do you do that? I don't know. I feel like I've been struggling a lot with this, like a lot, and it's uncomfortable. I would say it's definitely about insecurity and not being happy with myself. But then at the other hand, it depends on the day, you know. Some days I care less, some days I care more, I don't know. I feel like I'm happy and confident with the way that I look until I see someone else. Then I'm like, I want to look like that. It's weird, whatever. Admitting that to the internet is obviously very weird. So if you have any tips on how you deal with it in real life, I would highly appreciate it. So self-sabotaging. The areas I've been struggling with self-sabotaging is with work, food and in my relationship. When it comes to food, I feel like lately I've been eating not the best, especially since after vacation, like, you know, then you're on vacation, then I got sick, and then I really didn't, you know, eat very healthy. And sometimes I know that I'm not eating healthy, and I know I'm gonna feel bad if I'm like, you know, overeating and stuff like that, but I still do it. Same with work. I feel like I've been procrastinating a lot, and then I don't get the work done that I want to get done. Why am I doing this to myself? I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet. When it comes to my relationship, the thing is that I read this book, and I'm sure you heard of it, and it is called The Mountain Is You. This book was calling me out all the time. All the time. It is so good, I think I need to read it again. What really stuck with me in this book is she explains that we all have a certain level of happiness that we allow ourselves and that we feel comfortable in. The moment we, you know, exceed, is exceed the right word? We go over that happiness level that we're used to our entire lives, we get uncomfortable. Because even if good things happen that we're not used to, we get uncomfortable as human beings. And I feel like when my relationship is going too well, sounds so stupid, I self-sabotage. What I can definitely recommend to you if you're struggling a lot with self-sabotaging is reading this book. Like I said, I need to read it again, and this time I need to highlight. I don't know why I didn't do it the first time, but I need to do that. I also really like this one where she says, if the situation has an extremely low likelihood of becoming reality, it therefore becomes a safe thing to worry about, because subconsciously we already know it isn't going to happen. Here we have, your upper limit is essentially the amount of good that you're comfortable having in your life. When you begin to surpass your upper limit, you start to unconsciously sabotage what's happening in order to bring yourself back to what's comfortable and familiar. Then we have how to resolve this, which I really need to read again. And what I also really liked was, then she has this whole things where it's like in chapters and what the problem is and how to resolve it, and I really liked it. For example, perfectionism, what the problem is, and then she talks about how to resolve it, and it starts with, don't worry about doing it well, just do it. Don't worry about writing a bestseller, just write. Don't worry about making a Grammy-winning hit, just make music. So this is my tip, reading books on it, and the second one actually is journaling. So I personally like to journal a lot on my MacBook or my phone, because I don't like to write a lot because I feel like I get cramps in my hand, and so I just write it in my notes. And I also have like 2 screenshots that I wanted to show you, and the first one is, if you're also self-sabotaging, especially in relationships, it says like, we self-sabotage relationships because we are expecting pain, fearing the past repeating itself, not feeling worthy of the love we crave, to build a false sense of control before someone else hurts us, which I totally do. I'm a control freak, I'm a very controlling person, I'm aware of that, I'm working on it. Predicting that we will be hurt, so we make false assumptions. I think I do all of them, honestly. Listening to the same stories in our minds. We cause pain to ourselves and to our partner proactively to protect us from the possibility of it. And then I want to read some reflection prompts if you want to journal about it, because I feel like maybe I need to do this more often. I don't know. Why do I believe that I don't deserve to have good things happen to me? Do I feel that I'm unworthy of love from others, and why do I feel this about myself? Is my self-sabotaging a result of a fear that I have? Am I afraid that I will lose something if I allow it in? How can I recognize when I'm self-sabotaging? What patterns or signs seem to always present themselves? I think that's what I need to work on, because I feel like it's repeating habits. When the negative, harmful, or uncertain thoughts creep in, what can I interrupt them with? I think you can only read and journal so much, but at one point, if it's really bad for you, I think for me it definitely is, not just the self-sabotaging, but at one point to consider therapy. I definitely have other issues, not just self-sabotaging, so therapy is definitely something I'm thinking about. These are all the self-sabotaging tips I have at the moment. You get to know yourself way better if you journal it out and ask yourself questions why you do these things, and then you just need to find a way of breaking your patterns, breaking the way you're thinking, you know. I know it's very hard, but I believe in you. and in myself that we can get through this. I hope this video helped in any way, maybe just to make you feel less alone. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It would help me so much. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!